Okay, today we're going over this worksheet. It's called Scatterplots Male versus Female Unemployment Rate. We've been given this this raw data of unemployment rate for males and unemployment rate for females. Okay, so the first task is to explain any relationship you can identify between the variables. If we look at the data table, we notice that for the x values, there's no real pattern. For the y values also, there's no real pattern. Generally, when we're looking at the table, we want to see if all the values are increasing or decreasing, and since there isn't any pattern, then the only other thing that we can do is we can graph it. So I've already entered all the data values into Desmos, and if you want to do this, I suggest you do this. All you have to do is copy the table and then paste it into Desmos. So if I just highlight all of these values, copy it, go back over to Desmos, then I can just add a new box, paste it in, and all of the data values show up, right? But I've already done that, so they're all here already. Okay, so if we look at this, just by looking at this graph, I would think that since all of our values are increasing as we go from left to right, I'd say that this is a positive relationship. Since they aren't very clustered, some of them are, but there's a couple that are spread out, I would say that this is a moderately strong relationship. So under 1, I'm going to say that this is moderately strong positive relationship. Again, the way that we can prove this is if we're asked to prove it, then we can calculate the correlation coefficient and calculate the slope. So this says create a trend line, position your ruler on the graph to follow the general trend of the data, then move the ruler and roll a line so that approximately half data points are above the line and approximately half the data points are below the line. So then if we go back to Desmos, Desmos allows us to create a trend line. All you have to do is type in y equals mx plus b. And then, let me show you how to do this. Y equals mx plus b. Then you'll get these options to add sliders. So you're going to choose a slider for M, you're going to choose a slider for B. So what this allows us to do is this allows us to move the line around so that we can best fit the data, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We have 13 data values. And remember, your trend line wants to model the data, and you want it to try to split the data in half. So that means that we have to have roughly 6 data points above it and 6 data points below it. So right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 above it, 1 on it. So that means that I have 6 below it, right? So, or 7 below it. So if now I could change the slope. See if I could just move this. Yeah, this looks pretty good. Maybe not. Just play with it a little bit more. Yeah, that looks better. Okay, so we have our trend line, and you're just going to try to replicate that on your graph here, or what you can do is you can just take a screenshot and include it on the digital copy if you have a digital copy. If not, then you're just going to have to copy it by hand. Okay, so now we're going to fill out this table, right? And the beauty of Desmos is that we can use Desmos to have us approximate these values based off of our trend line. So we're looking at a female value of 6.5. So we can click on the line and move around, and it'll give us the approximate x value. So if we go to female is y, so 6.5 is 7.14. So for male, this is going to be 7.14 according to my trend line. Now we're going to go to male for 3.0. Male is the X value. So the X value of 3.0 is going to be right here. So Y value 3.208, so 3.2. And then a male value of 8.2. I'm going to let you fill in the rest of this based off of your trend line. Interpolation or extrapolation. So interpolation, remember, interpolation is if the data value that they're asking for falls within the data that we already have. If it falls within the data that we already have, then it's considered interpolation. If it's outside of the data that we have, then it's called extrapolation. So anything beyond this point to the right would be considered extrapolation. Anything before this point to the left would also be considered extrapolation. So again, if it falls within the data that we already have, it's interpolation. If it's anything before this point, it's extrapolation. If it's anything after this point, then it's also extrapolation, right? So the first one, 7.14, oh, sorry, they gave us the Y value for that one. So 6.5. So 6.5 is inside of the data, so that's interpolation. So this is I. And then this one was 3.0. Oh, sorry, 6.5 for Y. Yeah, that's still interpolation. Okay, and then 3.0 for X. That's just beyond this point, all right? So that's also interpolation. Okay, so you can fill in the rest of this table. All right, which part of the equation indicates the slope? Explain what this means in the context of male and female unemployment. So if we go back, remember M is our slope, right? So in this case, we've identified our slope as 0.8 with the help of Desmos. So M is equal to 0.8. What does this mean? We have our two variables. We have X being male unemployment and Y being female unemployment, right? So remember, slope is vertical change over horizontal change, right? So if the vertical change is female unemployment and the horizontal change is male unemployment, then the slope describes the amount of increase between male and female unemployment, because since our function is increasing, that means that the slope has to be increasing, right? So to be specific, for each increase of one unemployed male, we should expect 0.8 unemployed females. Okay, which part of the equation indicates the y-intercept? Explain what this means in the context of male and female unemployment. Again, my values are going to be different than yours because your trend line is going to be a little different. But the y-intercept is also 0.8, right? For mine, yours is going to be different. I expect yours to be different. If yours is the same, then there's something wrong there. B is equal to 0.8, and this means what? When x is equal to 0, y is equal to 0.8. Again, x is male unemployment, y is female unemployment, right? So for 0, unemployed males